Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Just Joking, episode 149. I am your host, Kevin Dombrowski, joined as always by our fantastic production team that wants to kill me.
Glam Radio?
Let's bring them in live here. Joe and Andy, are you guys, bring yourselves center stage here. There he is.
Hello.
Hey, Kevin.
Is Brett on? I know
Brett's,
Brett doesn't want to be on camera.
Yeah, he can turn his microphone on, though.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
We're gonna substitute him for you if you didn't show up.
That's
is
fair.
It 2 or is it 2:20 right now?
It is 2:20 right now. We are, this is the new time we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to say we're live at 2, unless the guest can't do that. And then we're going to scramble and say the guest can't show up, promote a completely different time, and then last minute go, let's do the original time anyway.
I like that move. It'll keep them guessing.
Yeah.
It'll keep them guessing, keep them not watching. You know, whatever we try to do, it'll do. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a guest that's coming on. I don't know if he's in right now. He's scrambling to get ready.
Not
so
yet.
We had Dave Landau pulled the Jackie the Joke Man Martling on us. This
Yeah, are you
son of
really
a
getting
bitch.
these guests, by the way? Every week you email about this awesome guest that we're getting, and then the day of the show, miraculously, they wind up canceling. I'm starting to think this is a gag.
Yeah.
You didn't hear? We have Richard Pryor is on next week. We've got Louis C.K. will be on at some point. Bill Burr will also be on. We've got they're all in my cell phone. I'll send you a screenshot of my contact list so that you can see it. No, Dave Landau was supposed to be on. He wrote down tomorrow instead of today in typical comic fashion. He's on Fox. Actually, here's a fun thing. He's in Greenville, South Carolina on Fox at 2:20. So if you don't like what we do at 2:30,
Check him out over on Fox News. Hey, by the way, I mean, this is the type of discussion we should really have in a meeting, but do you want to just go tomorrow at 2 if he's available?
No, I don't. Let's we have him for April now.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got him booked for April. Look at us. We're doing a regular Stern and
Just
and
like
Baba
Jack,
Booey
just
thing.
like we have Jackie.
It's just like we have Jackie, except there's no Dave Landau didn't send me a video where he called me the wrong name and then gave me a tour of his office.
It's a nice
That
touch.
made me, it made me feel like I was about to get cast in one of his movies, to be honest. And I was very close to pulling my pants off.
We all
with
love
or
Jackie the
without
Jokester.
him. He will be on next week. I should probably
Jackie the
confirm that
Jokester.
with him Monday, though.
Yeah, that'll be great.
So Dave will be on in April. We've scrambled. We are live now on the Shuli network, which makes the show have a little bit more pressure than if we were just filming regularly. Now we have live people that we don't want to disappoint. So if you are listening, how disappointed are they? I don't turn on the live chat.
No more disappointed than normal.
Okay, fair enough. Well, there you go. See that we're delivering. We're consistent, everyone. So if you're annoyed right now, then you're probably annoyed constantly. And you know what? I enjoy that. Thanks for tuning in.
And since you couldn't get a comedian to come on as our guest today, who did we get?
We do have a comedian. Is he in the waiting room?
No.
Okay. That's going to be the bit. I'm just going to say it the whole time. Is he in the waiting room right now? If you are listening to this podcast, per usual, audio only, you can check us out every Friday, hopefully at 2 p.m. on the Shuli Network on our YouTube page. Go check that out for previous episodes. 2:20, 2 o'clock. Sometimes Andy has sleeves, sometimes he doesn't. It's a real mess. But here's what you can do is you can check us out live as we record the show, take part in the live chat. We'll also do some stories that you can throw in some fun ideas and whatnot. It'll be a good old grand time. If you are watching live now, check out previous episodes we've done with your podcasting faves like Ari Shafir, Lisa Lampanelli, Jamie Kennedy, the Cooligans from the soccer podcast with Alexis Guerreros, and God, his name is escaping me right now. Christian Polanco, and also Matt Eisman from the NBC. Refreshing my browser because I haven't gotten the link yet. And Matt Eisman from the NBC Olympic show. I swear to God, there's someone coming on, Joe. There's someone coming on.
I believe you. As far as you know, I believe you.
And Matt Iceman from the Olympic Show. Check those out. You can check them out in the backlog. I have uploaded.
Now that he's frozen, Andy and I will take over the show and get the comment. Oh, there he is. Hey, so how was your gig last night? Did it draw more than your niece's play?
No, unfortunately, but it wasn't on to me. It wasn't up to me to draw. No, it was. Where did you see that? Was that on my page?
Yeah, I think maybe your Twitter or Instagram story had posted, and you said what play they were doing as well, Death of a Salesman or something.
It was actually The Lion King that they did.
Oh.
And
just like Death of a Salesman.
A little different than Willie Loman.
Fucking idiot. What kids would be putting on Death of a Salesman?
They were actually going to do Glenn Ross. But we couldn't get the thunder from the outside. And
ABC always be changing the time of the show.
That's it. And
we should get Mamet on. That'd be a good get. I'm sure he would do Just Joking.
In the audition process, they couldn't get a lead because they said, "And what's your name?" And they said, "I've been in this business for 15 years. Fuck you. That's my name." They're like, "Wow, the mouth on these elementary schoolers." Hold on, our guest is actually calling us right now.
God, and we make fun of stuttering.
Hey, we're live
John.
on air. Can you hear me? We're live on air.
I haven't got the link yet, bro.
I just sent you the link. I just emailed it to you.
Tell him to check his spam.
No, it's not coming up, though.
Fucking boomers.
I just emailed it to you. I did it again.
I'm looking at it right now. It's refreshing.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna share it through mail. All right, I'm gonna do it one more time.
Wait.
I did. I sent it to the second one that you just sent.
Where is the? Let me see.
All right, I gotta go. The producers are making fun of me. I just sent it to your website.
I'm using nobody but me with the sound effects.
Oh, that's hilarious. What are the live comments saying now? Just shoot some out. Just put some of the bad ones on screen.
Go ahead, Andy. Let's see them.
All right, we're gonna start.
Don't hurt my feelings too much.
They really like me and Andy. They've turned against you hard, though.
Oh, that's
a real good one. Here's a real good one.
Andy from Ontario. There he is.
Everybody loves Andy. That's what it's like being a legend.
Kevin doesn't read the chat. Concrete Pete.
Kevin doesn't read. Full stop.
That's fair. Where's Ray? Who's Kevin? That's a fair question.
Ray is toweling off from a shower somewhere.
Hello, all from Concrete Pete.
Our guest is here, sir.
Our guest is here. All right, let's do this. Let's go live here. Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Shuli Network. This is Just Joking. No interviews, no arguments, just jokes. My guest in studio, scrambling as I have. Blame Dave Landau, blame Jackie the Joke Man, whoever you want. Scrambling in here before he's got shit to do. My good buddy. I toured with him for very many years. Good friend of mine. Just filmed his brand new special that you will see coming out soon. Give it up for the great Carlos Mencia coming on the show, buddy.
Blam Radio.
What a complete disaster it is already. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually really great, man. It's been an awesome couple of months. Ever started like in January-ish, I really started integrating myself and kind of what you've been telling me forever, but I just couldn't do it, which is like literally going online and putting myself out there.
Yeah.
Social media and all that stuff. It's been great, dude. Just heavy with the redundant stupidity. Like, how can I explain it? I'm at a place where negative comments literally don't bother me. They don't trigger me. They don't make me want to go.
Let me stop you right here, because if you're at a place for that, this is the place to be.
Yeah. It's literally. Let me tell you what's annoying. It's not even it's annoying. It's the redundant monotony of it. This is what bothers me. I go on, right? Like after we do this, I'll go on my Instagram and I'll have a comment that says, I'll say something like, "Oh my God, I was hanging out and he used to open for me, and blah, blah, blah. And then somebody would be like, oh, well, whose jokes did he steal? And that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is clicking on their face, going to their page, clicking on the 3 dots, having the drop-down list, clicking block. Then it tells you on the bottom, click block again. Then once it's blocked, I have to go back and delete. Those little movements of that, fucking annoying. So annoying. It's like just that part. But other than the weight of that, it's been awesome, man. It's been really great. And the videos that I put up that get a lot of views are videos about positivity, about good stuff. Like one of the videos got 500,000 views. It was literally me showing up at my buddy's house and being surprised at how nice the house was. Not in a bad way, but in a like, oh my God. Like in my head, I was like, oh my God, I thought you were like just a comedian. Like you're doing good for yourself. This is amazing.
Sure.
And yeah, like stuff like that. But yeah, it's been awesome. Just kind of heavy. You know what I mean? And dealing with stuff.
Well, two things. Number one, I apologize that you have to block me every time I say something negative. That's on me. Number two, I know how that feels because every time someone meets my wife or sees my family, they go, "Holy shit! I thought you were just a comedian." So I do feel like your friend.
Yeah, it's no, man. It's been really amazing, and it's affected the shows. The special was supposed to come out. We wanted to do one for free, so I filmed 2 specials. One was supposed to be for free, and the other one wasn't. And then people got a hold of it, and they're negotiating now buying it, so it's made the process longer. But integrating into the internet finally, and just answering questions and being honest with people, because so much of what happened with me was how do I say it? It's become like a thing of the speak of legend. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I hear stories about myself that I'm like, when did that happen? I feel like when I die, me and Richard Gere are going to be talking about the gerbil he never had in his ass and all the things that ever happened to me. That I was like, I was never even there when that happened.
Yeah, you're going to go, that one was actually me. This was me. You did this. I did that.
Right. But no, it's been good. Just kind of jarring and taxing and integrating and coming back, and it's been fun so far. Really good, really really fun, and touching certain subjects that I couldn't touch before. Talking about being sad and mental illness and depression and suicide and stuff like that. Like I can talk about that. I can say something today that I could never have said before, which is don't do as I say, do as I do. Which what I talk about on stage is I don't talk shit about other people, not even other comedians, not even those that have tried to hurt me. I don't have that thing inside me that wants to get revenge. You know what was funny, dude? I was thinking about this yesterday because John Wick 4 came out. And so I was going to go see it yesterday. And I started catching up, just kind of saw 1, 2, and 3 just to kind of refresh my memory. And I remember thinking like, man, why is this so intriguing to people, right? And it's the vengeance thing, right? Like we love vengeance. And I love those movies for that reason. I love the vengeful part. I love that he wants to kill everybody. I love that he's shooting them in the head. I love that it's over a stupid fucking dog.
Are you sure you're not a white guy? Are you sure you're not actually just white?
Maybe. Shit. According to the internet, I'm German, so. So, sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Guys, like, I love this. I love eating my family. I love killing my neighbors. I love all of it.
I love it. No, I love the fantasy of it. But I realized that I love the fantasy of it because I would never do that. You know what I mean? Like I don't need vengeance in my life. Like these past 10 years, what I've worked on is not being vengeful. Like last night we had a sold out show, right? In Irvine. It's about a 500-seat club. I haven't sold out a Thursday there since probably 2010 or something like that. Maybe ish around that time. And so it would have been easy. It would be easy for me to go to those shows and even just do turn on a video and say, fuck this guy, fuck that guy. And my whole audience would cheer for it. I just feel like I felt like I didn't want that in my life. I wanted to
Right.
be a positive influence on myself and look at the things that I did. And like last night, I went on really long. Show started at 8. We got off at 11. I gave extra money to the staff. I was like, I'm so sorry. We were here for a long time. Luckily, a dude came who was a drug dealer. So he gave me $1,000, and I was like, no, don't give me that much. And then I just gave it to the staff, and I said, well, part of it. I'll give part of it today, part of it tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, you just have this, and you guys split it amongst yourselves. Like 10 years ago, when you and I were touring,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have been aware of that. I just would have done the show.
We would have just done the drugs.
We would have just done everything else, right? We would have done everything else. We would not have done that thing. And so now I'm like very aware of those feelings. Like I was doing a podcast and somebody was like, hey, you didn't deserve all the hate that you got, and you don't deserve the hate that you get. And I was like, I get it, man. But some of the things I did to these comics were very hurtful. I mean, they came from a good place in my heart.
Sure.
But they're very hurtful. Like I was talking to Albert the other day, and he reminded me of this thing I used to do.
Your brother.
Yeah, my brother Albert. So
Yeah.
I hate with a passion clubs that are showcase clubs, right? That don't have a headliner, an opener, just, everybody does 15, 20 minutes, all night long, that kind of thing. I hate when there's not a good crowd or not. See, the way I said that doesn't make sense. I hate when there's a small crowd and comics go up there and waste their 15 fucking minutes in not doing a real show. And you've seen this before. They go up and complain about the audience and, say things like, it's a poor workman who blames, but look at my tools, like that kind of shit. It just bothered me. And so Albert reminded me that what I would do is we would go to the Comedy Store and watch 2 to 3 comedians just not try and not do well and, have bad sets. And I would look at Bert and I'd go, how long do you think it's going to take me to get him? Like to get an applause break, to get one big laugh where everybody applauds. And he would be like, 6 minutes. I go, I think I could do it in 4. And like literally I'd boom, 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 and get that applause break. And I'd stop and go, how long was that, Bert? Like into the mic.
Right.
And in the back, he'd go 3 minutes. And I'd be like, you see, that's how it's done. Who's next? That's dick, bro. That's dick.
That's a dick move. That's there's some people that probably want to John Wick for you for doing that.
It's a dick move, but in my defense, no, I'm not going to say it like that. I'm going to tell you where it came from. It came from anger.
Yeah.
Anger that they were giving these audiences a shitty show. Anger that they were blaming them, because my values on stage are, if they're there, right? They could have chose to get up and leave after whatever comedian, and they chose to stay. That means they did their part. Now you do your part as a comedian. Make them laugh. Don't blame them for being there. Plus, when you go up on stage as a comedian and you go, oh man, this crowd is small, blah, 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 and then you say goodnight, half the people leave because you gave them a shitty attitude.
Right.
On top of that, you're going to get mad at me for going on long when I'm actually getting fucking laughs so that I could bring up somebody who's going to get no laughs and not give a shit. Like, that was my mentality. It just pissed me off. And it was always about the crowds. But you know this more than anybody because you've been around when I have no idea that the staff is pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
They're in the back listening to them complain, listening to them bitch.
Watching them fall asleep because it's 1 a.m.
Exactly. Exactly. And I get it now. Right now I understand, or at least I'm looking at the other side and going, hey, maybe they have somewhere to go. Maybe they were supposed to be somewhere. Maybe tonight was an important night where they were going to meet afterwards at work and go have drinks or whatever the case was. My thing was my love for the audience. And you know this more than anybody, bro, has always been so amazingly great that you've seen me stay on stage till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And you've seen me do 2 hours and go, you know what? We got to end this show. And you've seen audiences after 2 hours go, no, keep going. And when that happens, and I love audiences that much, oh man, that's a bad recipe, bro. That's a bad recipe.
Yeah.
And it's not that you know what I'm saying. 'Cause you were there.
I do. I do. If I may, for you, in the time that I met you, from probably 2013 till now, the personal growth I've seen, and this isn't in a bad way. I mean this genuinely. Of you going from being Carlos Mencia and loving being an entertainer and making people laugh, and going from like this fucking crazy height that you were, right?
Right.
To being more Ned and being more personable and being like you're like more rooted into reality, because how could you be at like the heights that you got? Like I get that. But watching you go from that to where you are now, and I guess humbling yourself would be a good way to put it, of like seeing your affection grow for other people and like what you look for and those feelings that you search for. I mean, dude, I've said it repeatedly to anyone I've ever told that you're my mentor. It's like my life has been nothing but better on stage and off with you. And that's why it's like it's cool to see that whole process. And like I texted you, hey, are you around? Because I need someone real quick. And you're like, hey, I got a therapy session. He just pushed it half an hour. I was like, perfect. Let's go online and make some dick jokes. Like that type of shit I've seen. And let me tell you how to avoid that altogether is you book friends like mine, like Gino Bisconti, that just don't entertain the audience. And then you don't have to deal with the whole ego trip. See, what you do is
Glam
you set
radio?
them up for failure. You set them up for failure, and then you avoid the whole narrative and story arc altogether.
Yeah. You know what's funny? My older brother passed away about a year and a half ago. God, it's been a minute. Miss you, bro. And I came full circle. So when I was like 8, way too early, by the way, 8-ish, 10-ish, between 8 and 10, he gave me a book, right? The first novel I ever read, it was The Count of Monte Cristo. And I read the whole book, and I hated him for it. Because I don't know if you're familiar with the actual story, but it's not like the Jim Caviezel remake of the movie where they end happy and everything's cool.
He gets crucified.
No, yeah, none of that. In the book, at the end of his vengeance, after all that happens, he's got one guy, right, to revenge. Just one guy to take revenge on. And he meets with his girlfriend who they were going to marry. And he finds out that she still loves him, that the kid that he thought was his enemy's kid is actually his kid. So she tells him, that's your son. I love you. You're the richest dude in the world. Let's just go. Let's just get on that boat and live life and be happy. And he was like, no, just let me get revenge, please. And she's like, well, you're obviously not Edmond Dantes anymore. You are the Count of Monte Cristo, right? Which is like Carlos and Ned for me. And in back in those days, I was pissed. I didn't understand it. I was like, why? Why would you not let him take vengeance? They put him in jail. They took half of his life. I don't understand. You fucking bitch. Why would you cock block his hate? I don't get it. Dude, I've come full circle now because I realized that my journey for the past 10 years was so that I could walk away with her and leave that pain behind, right? And leave that soreness behind. I don't hate comedy. I don't hate comedians. I understand. I literally do. I understand that if you believe everything on the internet about me and it's negative, you got to hate me. Because according to the internet, I didn't just steal jokes. I took them from young comedians and put them on and took advantage. And I went to comedy clubs and sat in the back and wrote their shit down and made it mine or whatever like that evilness is. So I understand it. That's why addressing it for me is not a big deal, even though it becomes a little monotonous, right? Like, dude, if anybody wants to check, you can go on my timeline on my Instagram and check this out.
I can't wait for that clip to come out where you go, I didn't just do this, I did this. And that's gonna be the clip that comes out of this episode.
That's gonna be the one that everybody says, you see, he said he did it. He said he did it.
It's gonna be comedian all over again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you know what it is? It's like, okay, so not for everybody, but if you send me something where you're asking me about joke stealing or something like that, or or because a lot of people give me this, dude, why don't you just apologize for what you did, right? So then I literally have on my phone Like I open up one of my writing apps and then I copy and paste this just because I'm tired of writing it out. And I say pretty much this. Okay, aside from the wall joke, which about 10 comedians did, low-hanging fruit, very common parallel thought, don't even want to go there. And the Cosby joke, which I cannot explain, but all I can say is I did talk to him about it personally, and unless you're him, you have no right to be complaining about it, or you can if you want, but that's what it is. I tell him, bring me actual proof of me stealing jokes. I'm not challenging you. I'm not being angry, but give me someone to apologize to. And no, that as you know, I've recorded my show since 1994, so I actually have actual proof of when I told certain jokes at a certain time. So send me the evidence, and we'll deal with this out in the open for everyone to see. Nothing hidden, no agenda. I await your response.
What do you think?
Zero people have responded. Zero. Okay, so no, one person responded. Just one. I swear to God. And they sent me a link to a video where I do a joke about being the remote control, right? Because back in the day, you know, the TVs, you had to change them, and I was the remote control. That's pretty much what the joke was. I did it in 1993. If you watch the video, bro, you could see that I'm like 20 years old. And then it shows a video of George Lopez doing the same joke in 2005. But this was supposed proof that I took the joke. And I was like, you can fucking see how young I am. You could see that it's like 1990s, and then this is different. And I just laughed, and I had to put the link up to let people see. But yeah, I'm in a good place. Like I said, none of that stuff bothers me. I get it. I understand it. And dude, there are people that really think I'm a monster. And it's not easy, bro. It's not easy. Look.
Yeah, no, I would imagine that. What's your because I heard them talking, I heard like Brendan Schaub and Rogan talking about it on his podcast about when Bobby Lee had you on Tiger Belly, and he was like trying to get you to like, I guess, go one way or the other with it. Like, Bobby is trying to help.
Yeah. But you got to understand who Bobby is. I love Bobby Lee. Love him. But he's a very easily malleable person. And in that interview that I did with him, I kind of said something to him about that. And he goes, yeah, I'll go with the flow. I'm a survivor. It doesn't matter. Like, if he's with me and my people, he'll say all pro Carlos things. If he's somewhere else, he says something different. He's that guy. He doesn't like being fucked with. He doesn't like the challenge of it. He doesn't like any of that. So what he was trying to do was, he knows that if I just go, you know what, I'm sorry for what I did. Sorry that I stole all those jokes, so to speak, that people will be like, well, good, get over it. But you know me, dude. I have integrity. Yes, I bumped people. Yes, I was a dick. Yes, I was arrogant. Yes, I had blinders on. Yes, the first thing I heard pretty much when I started doing stand-up at the Comedy Store was somebody say to Tony Ray, another Latino comedian, that's the guy that's going to take your spots. Because the rule was only one minority can exist at a time. I don't think that anybody that I know that is white that's done stand-up from the time that I started has ever heard we have our white guy.
Let me tell you something.
White guy. Who's going to take your white spots?
I can tell you what they haven't said is we need a white guy. They haven't said that.
Yeah. What are you talking about? You're in every movie. You're everywhere. What are you talking about?
They said we have too many white guys, actually.
Yeah, but that's only because you've had you've had all that for so long time that now it's kind of like, hey, let's get these minority kids in there. Hey, let's get these brown people. Let's get these yellow people. Let's get these beige people. But that was, look, I started in 1988, so that's when it happened. And it just created this armor for me personally. And my armor was, I don't see it. I don't get it. I'm not even focused on it. And it helped me become Carlos Mencia with Minor Mencia. What it did also was, a lot of people got hurt on the way there. And those people, when given the chance to hurt me, did their best to hurt me. And I understand it. The irony of it is the price. I believe that's the irony. Let me tell you a very interesting story, bro. My nephew, my brother Joseph's son, when I started Minor Mencia, got his third strike. This was when they used to do 3 strikes and you're out. And he got 16 years, right? So when by the time the trial went, it was 2006. He ended up going to jail for 16 years, bro. He got out of jail last year, right? And he called me up and he's like, hey, Uncle Ned, could you help me out? I just got out of jail. I don't have a job. I need a car, blah, blah, blah. You know, I want to change my life. And I was like, of course. And I look down and I get a push notification. And the notification says, whose jokes are you stealing now? And I went, fuck, you got out of jail? I'm still in jail, bro. I'm literally still in comedy fucking jail. And you literally went to jail for 16 years. And those moments, if you're not in the right mental space, can really depress one.
Oh, I've seen that. But that's why I've been telling you, since I knew you, it was like, dude, I know Ned. I know Ned very well. And for years, like you said before, I was like, I just think adding Ned into more stuff, that realism is, what's interesting is like you came up in the 80s and 90s when it was like real performance based and performance heavy. And when I learned from you, when I recorded my first album, I relied on performing for the laughs, even though the material was funny. And the one I just recorded in December was so different than the first one, but it was like a commercial for me as a stand-up, where it was like, it's really good material. I'm really proud of the hour, but it was more so me doing stand-up like any other night that you would see. I'm in and out of the jokes. I'm pulling people in, and it was real fun, but it was so different. And that's kind of what I was like, I guess that's why I did that for myself. Cause I was like, I don't want to be less performing. I want to be more me. And like, even dude, when you were up, there was one time we were in the city. Do you remember some dude was high on synthetic weed and just naked on 34th Street by the Garden?
Yes.
And cops had him at like gunpoint. And and you were like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know. Let's go do radio. it was like a normal thing. It was like, that guy's going to be out here for a couple of hours. And we went in, and then you went up to Compound and you did the Anthony Cumia show. Yeah. And at first it was like, I think Gavin McGinnis was one of the guests or something, and you and him went into it, and Artie Lang was on, and Artie kept doing the George Lopez reaction face, and you and Gavin were throwing stats at each other, and Anthony's being Anthony, Opie and Anthony guy, and you walked away from it, and overwhelmingly the reactions we saw online were like, wow, Carlos really won me over, because you were so Ned in it. And it was like, man, that's the juice right there, where it's so much of you personally, but it was hard. You throw that in but
that was the difficult journey, because once it goes to that place, right? Once it goes past the performance, once it goes past the character I've created, the Carlos Mencia on stage, once it goes past that and it hits Ned, it becomes very hurtful, because I'm aware of the effect that it's had, right? I'm aware of what it's done to me and my family, and I'm aware of the fact that, I tell people, look, just be logical about this. If it was about joke stealing, if that was really the problem people had with me, then it wouldn't come up that I ran the light. Then it wouldn't come up that my name is Ned. Then it wouldn't come up that I changed it to Carlos. Then it wouldn't come up that I'm supposedly German. Then it wouldn't come up that I'm not Latino. Then it wouldn't come up that I'm not Mexican. Like, all those other attacks wouldn't be there, because it wouldn't be about that, right? Like, those attacks, in my opinion, show you that it was just, let's get rid of the competition. Let's get rid of this guy. Let's get that fucking guy off the stage who hurts us, who goes on long, who does all this stuff. And I wish that they would have stuck with that, because for all the people listening who think that, Joe complained about me stealing his jokes, Joe never did that. Joe has never said I stole his jokes. Joe has only said that I took other people's jokes. And so, you know, Ned seeing that is painful, man. You know, it's painful when I know that my drop from the mind of Mencia and the height of that to 1 year later, literally after all the shit went out, was unbelievably drastic. It was one of the biggest drops ever. And it was the biggest drop ever. And I know that it's cost me money because I've had producers come up and apologize to me and tell me your name was brought up to be in a project that I did. And I said no because of the stuff online. And I'm really sorry. And I apologize. And I know you don't know me. I just want you to know that I'm sorry. And in the future, if I could ever make it up to you, I will. And you know me, bro.
Yeah.
My reaction to that was, hey man, thank you. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate your kind words, but I understand why, you felt that way. You believe that. And, if you believe that, I can understand why you wouldn't want to work with me, why you wouldn't want to be around me. I think the problem is when I was alone, because I didn't want to share this with my wife. I don't want to share this pain with my wife. I don't want to come home with sadness in my eyes and depression and tell her, hey, you know what I mean? I made $15,000, $20,000 less this week because we don't have that many people coming to a show or whatever it is. Hey, I'm concerned for the future. Hey, when is this going to be over? Hey, when am I going to be able to deal with this? All that kind of stuff. It was difficult, man. I now do a joke about being with a transgender. The story occurred in 1996. That's when it really happened. And it involved Ron Jeremy and this whole thing. And I could never talk about that thing on stage back in the day. But today, it's one of the funniest stories I tell. It's me being with this transgender and this whole thing that occurred. But it's something that I never, ever would have done without all of what you're talking about, this personal growth, this human growth. Right. This part of me that wants to share on stage and be authentic and real. And so, yeah, it has changed my stand-up in ways that I never anticipated. I am so much edgier now than I ever was when I thought I was edgy. The difference is that I don't walk people anymore. I don't get people mad that want to leave the shows. I don't get a certain 3 to 5 to 10% of people that are like, I don't like this guy's material. I've gotten really good at bringing people in, like you said, so that they're enveloped in the story and they come to it. And when I reverse those stories and put them on them, they respond appropriately. And I can go in and out of these really amazing truths and seriousness. And then boom, hit them with jokes and bring it back. And it's amazing. Last night, the show started at 8. Literally, bro, at 10:45, one couple had left. And they apologized because they were like, we got to go because we got a kid and the babysitter and she's a teenager and we got to go. And I was like, don't apologize, bro. But you know how hard that is to keep an audience for, 2.5 to 2 hours and 45 minutes, and they don't want to just leave. So yeah, this growth has been awesome, and I'm at a place where the negative stuff, it doesn't trigger me, so to speak. I don't go to those places. Yeah, it's very amazing. It's good
to see, man.
Never been in this place. I don't know what it's like because I'm aware. Right, like I'm aware now. I see what's going on with other people. I see all of it, and I've been doing it long enough that I can slow it down. The one thing about Mind of Mencia was I didn't enjoy it, not because it wasn't fun, but because I was so into the work. I was so into what's the next sketch, what's the next bit, what's the next break, what's the next thing we need to write, what's the next story we need to go to, what's the next event that's coming up, what are we good doing, how are we hitting it. I didn't have time. You know what I mean? Now I do it so well that I can slow everything else down. You know what I mean? I can literally look and go, you see that right there, waiter over there? Look at him. He's mad because he has something to do, and I understand that. And I'll literally in the middle of a show go, bro, where are you supposed to be in about 15 to 30 minutes? And he'll be like, oh, so-and-so. And if it's something really important, I'll be like, yeah, let's let him go. We should end the show, guys. Give him a round of applause. Give him a look. You know what I mean? But also, if it's something stupid, I'm like, Seriously, bro, you want me to get off stage for that dumb shit you want to go see? Whatever, dude. Not gonna happen. And then and then after I go apologize to him and you give him an extra tip or whatever and go, you okay, we're good. And I take the time to just say hello, to just bring it down. And it's been so rewarding. I mean, dude, getting standing ovations almost every single night, it never gets old, bro. It's so like illuminating. It's so fun. And it allows me to just write like even crazier stuff. Let's go. Let's push this envelope. You know what I mean? Let's talk about things that need to be talked about. And it's funny, I started doing sex jokes again, because I feel like, a lot of male and female relationships right now aren't like really working, and there's this disconnect and the Me Too movement. And so like now it's almost like, ooh, people need to hear about this. So let me talk about that. It's not even anymore, let me think of funny stuff. It's literally, oh, this is what needs to be addressed. I'll make that funny. And so even the process is completely different. My process now is just, I need to talk about that subject. Okay, let me talk about it on stage and make it funny. As opposed to, ooh, this is really funny. Let me talk about that. It's the opposite now. The whole process has changed. And it's made my stand-up just better than it's ever been. And it's so much fun.
Well, it's cool, man. It's good to see you in a good place. It's I've seen you through some dark times. I've seen you through some really good times. I do want to thank you for saying that the fall wasn't from Mind of Mencia to this. I do, especially I fell from Mind of Mencia to doing your podcast. If I was the bottom of that benchmark, that would have been a rough.
Oh no, that's exactly what I meant. I'm sorry. Was I not clear? Was I not clear? Yeah, my career is not where I wish it would be. When my friend called me on a Friday and goes, "Hey, are you busy?" And the only thing I have is, I got to go talk to the guy that's stopping me from killing myself. Yeah. You might be interrupting the one guy that's going to stop me from eating my gun. Yeah, dude, it's the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. But you have 45 minutes to go through some news stories with me. Did you hear, dude, this has you fucking written all over it. Did you hear about that Catch Me If You Can guy? So this is funny because this is like such a good link into like what people, what you're saying that people say about you and all of this different shit. This is kind of the same story. The Catch Me If You Can, Frank Abagnale Jr., that guy just came out with an article because basically he said the entire movie is bullshit. And he actually didn't do all of that. He Joe, do you have that story? He did something where it was like he got booked on some like misdemeanor of like basically the equivalence of like jumping a turnstile on an airplane. And then he got arrested. And then he started working for the FBI to stop people from doing the fraud he did. And that's literally it. He's just been in the FBI for 36 years. And they created this entire fucking movie and narrative about him being like the world's biggest heist and on the run out of nowhere. And he's like, guys, I've been working for the FBI for 40 years. None of this actually happened.
Well, first of all, look it, man. First of all, let's be real. It's a movie. Anybody that watches a movie that's not a documentary and thinks it's real, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I have nothing to say to you other than it's a fucking movie. Of course it is. Second of all, nobody would know your name if it wasn't for that movie. So unless you hate the fame, be grateful we know who the fuck you are because of that movie. Shut your pie hole. Take money that you got from the story and shit. Like, nobody cares. Does anybody really care? It never happened. So what? Yeah, I'm sure there was never a gerbil up Richard Gere's ass. Does it matter? Like at this point, once it goes into lore, it goes into lore. You know what I mean? Like for certain people, I will always be that guy, whatever that negative shit is, no matter what I do. It's okay. It's life. It's what we deal with. But you can't. That movie didn't happen. Oh no. Wait, a movie that was created for entertainment purposes didn't put in boring shit about your boring fucking life and they made it a little better so that I could like it? No. Really? So, dude, you know what it is? The internet has allowed every single fucking complaint to be like the do-all end-all. Everybody now has a way to bitch and moan about everything. And it's funny, right? But at the end of the day, we need more people doing positive stuff, right? Like, I love Ted Lasso. I haven't seen the new season, by the way. But I love Ted Lasso because if you listen to it, the majority of the jokes that it tells, it's not about belittling or demeaning. It's kind of uplifting comedy. And I like that, you know, there's that other side of it that shows that kind of growth about it. And I think that, you know, when you get into stuff like this and complaints and like, you know, the movie Rounders?
Yeah.
So I know a guy, you know what? It's a legal thing, so I can't say his name. But he says that he not only wrote that, but that character was him. And he pitched that to the movie company that actually made the movie. And so he sued them. I don't know where it is because he was like, that's my story.
Well, that's like Van Wilder was actually based on Bert Kreischer's life. It was.
Oh, really?
It's a movie about our life.
Nice.
That actually, unlike Frank Abagnale, that actually happened from 2014 to 2018. If you saw Carlos and I out in public, that's typically how we were.
Yeah, but by the way, I think you need to reverse that because after all the stuff I've done, I think I deserve to be the bottom. for karmic purposes, flip it over and put me in the front.
That's fair. That's fair. I would be the one pitching in that situation. I've caught a lot from you. But Van Wilder was a story about Bert Kreischer in college, and then someone bought the rights to the article and created Van Wilder. That's why he's doing The Machine now. It's like taking back his life and putting out his own movie about himself.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so you know those things occur, and you just gotta kind of go with the flow. But I mean, it's entertainment. Like everything in a movie is entertainment. Yeah, that is why a lot of people don't like documentaries, because some documentaries are boring because they try to get into the nuance of what stuff is to tell you. Right there, the driving force of a documentary is to reveal a truth. The driving force of a movie is to entertain you. You know what I mean? To take you to a world where it's like a fantasy. You know, it's a 2-hour trip into wherever. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, and so yeah, you can't complain about movies like that.
Did you see that the Clippers plane got struck by lightning?
Yeah, dude. How crazy. I would have loved to. This is what I thought. My first thought when that happened was, I wish I was there to see the biggest, tallest, grownest ass men act like little bitches. I would have loved to see that.
This is what I love about this is look at Paul George. It's still the other way. Paul George admits that he thought about sending a goodbye text after the Clippers plane completely shut off. So here's what I love is, so you and I have different thought processes here. Perfect example. I have an 11-minute story I told about flying in a doorless helicopter in Hawaii on my honeymoon. Right. I was terrified the whole time. You were like, I don't like that joke because that's the stuff that I want. Right. And those are our differences right there. This makes me fucking die laughing is when I hear, I don't want to see the biggest guy cry. I want to see what's real and what's not. Paul George considering sending a text. How much can you give a fuck about someone else that you don't pick up your phone and call them in your last seconds? You pick it up and go, man, I hope I have service up here. And he's texting every single person in his life.
That's funny. But here's the thing. Like, you know how when you watch the games and sometimes, you know, they grunt when they get fouled?
Yeah.
You know, and you hear that? Like, I just want to hear the juxtaposition of a guy like George who's like, but then all of a sudden, the turbulent hits and lightning strikes, and they go from to like that to me. to hear that high pitched, I'm scared out of my fucking mind. I might die. Let me text everybody that I love. To me, there's nothing funnier than watching somebody react as if they're gonna die when they're not really anywhere remotely close to being in that kind of danger, which they weren't. I don't think lightning or turbulence has ever brought a plane down that I know of.
Yeah.
It's so like, yeah, but just to see that for me would be, and you know what I want to see too? What did he do with the text, bro? What were the texts? Like, what did he say?
Well, that's the thing. First off, I do think there was a guy named Turbulence with a box cutter that brought a plane down. So that might have been the first occasion. I do think also you can see the order that he thinks people are in, because this is a guy that cheated on his own wife with the stripper who is his coach's daughter. That's who this guy is. I would love to see the order of the people he texted, because if you really want to know who he gives a fuck about, get that phone and see who he texted first and see if it matches up with whoever he's with.
Well, you know what I think? If he's the player that you think he is, I would assume that he sent texts to girls that he hasn't fucked yet and told them, I know we never got the chance, and I might, I was looking forward to it. Because if you
if it levels out, you should just fly there.
Right, it would be funny if he's just setting up future hookups.
Yeah, nothing's more romantic than texting.
If I don't, I'm coming to see you, Jessica.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's the greatest pickup line in the world. Hey, I might die, but I'm letting you know that if I don't, I'm gonna kill you with this dick tonight.
If I don't die, I'm gonna kill you with this dick.
Did you hear about Scottie Pippen's ex-wife? She said this crazy shit, because this is your era of basketball. We always talk hoops. I'm a LeBron guy. You're an MJ guy. Larsa Pippen claims she had sex with Scottie Pippen 4 times every single night during their 23-year marriage.
That she had to have sex with him?
Yeah. Not had to, but she did. 4 times a night, every night for 23 years. I don't think she'd be able to walk anymore.
No. That's verifiably accurate. So in the mid-90s, there used to be a comedy club on South Wabash in Chicago, and it was all black. It was called All Jokes Aside, and I used to perform there.
Oh, I heard about that one.
One night, beautiful, unbelievable woman was like, "You're amazing. You're so funny." I flew her to LA for a weekend. She landed on Friday, left on Monday. We had sex 17 times, bro. Turns out she's his ex. So if truth goes that's it. Because I was like, I did you 17 times in one weekend. And she's like, oh, he's worse. So I can verify that. That's real, bro.
That's like walking on a treadmill when you do a marathon every weekend. You're like, wasn't that a good workout? And you're like, to be honest, I need 30 more miles.
But you know what? I mean, if he could do it, good for him. You know what I mean? Good for him that he can do it.
Yeah. You know who's about to have sex 4 times a night for the next few years?
Nobody.
As it's looking. You, baby.
They didn't flip it around, though. I'm still in the back.
No, I was in the back there. There you go.
Oh, there it is. Oh, no. See, that's better. Because you look at your face right there, bro. In that, you look like, oh, I got you. And I look like, oh, my God, what's going to happen? Like, even my face.
I look exhausted. I look like Pippin's banged me 4 times a night for 23 years. Do you hear? What do you think about Trump? You think he's going to?
By the way, can we digress? Because I banged the chick that Scottie Pippen banged, as tall as he is, as big as his penis is. You got to give me credit for her actually enjoying me enough to have sex with me that many times in one weekend. That means that I'm comparable to NBA dick. I'm throwing it out there.
Hold on. You are 17 times of you is comparable to NBA dick.
You know what? Maybe I just had to fuck her more times because my dick isn't as big. Maybe it's just a simple math problem.
It was like getting a Chilean minor out. You're like, she's like, you're almost there. 16 more times and I should feel something.
Oh, God.
Dayla for $2 says, do better. We're trying, buddy. Look, give us 16 more times and we should be there.
Yeah, exactly. If you give me 17 tries, I'm going to get one right.
Do you think Trump's going to end up getting arrested for his Stormy Daniels shit?
No, I don't think arrested, but at this point, like all that shit has become comical. We need to get. I don't know, man. There's a disconnect between the way the country is and the way people think it is. You know what I mean? Like we're the richest country in the world. We're the fattest country in the world. Like I do this joke on stage, but I go, think about it. America's so amazing. We do shit that is mathematically impossible. We have fat, poor people. And I think that, there's another side to all of this stuff that needs to be talked about, right? The sensationalizing the Trump thing and him and going back and all this stuff. It's almost like, I don't know. To me, I'm getting tired of it. I don't hate politicians. I just like, can somebody just, you know what I mean? Try to just kind of care and, move on and stop doing all this other shit. And I don't care. Where are we at that we got, if Biden runs and he runs again and they go together, dude, both of them put together are going to be like 160 fucking years old, dude.
It's crazy.
Come on. You telling me we don't have somebody in their 50s, 60s? Shit, 70s. These fuckers are 80. Like, just bring it back, America. Dial it back.
It should be whoever can complete one sentence the first time and whoever can walk up a flight of stairs without tripping. That should be the presidential race.
You know what I think they should do? We should have a room with one like teenager, with one grandfather, with like every race, color, creed, but just one of each, and then put them in a room, and then have like our candidate speak to them, and whatever candidate gets an applause break or the most applause breaks from all the audiences, that guy gets to go because he represents America the best. That would be interesting to me. But this whole niche marketing thing, I don't like it, man. I don't like that right now you can go do some analytics, find out the kind of people that would love this specific podcast, and just go and send it to those specific people as opposed to sending it to everybody. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. I think we need to go back to, I want to be funny to everybody. I mean, I know I'm not, but I want to. Right? Yeah. When I step on stage, I want to be funny to everybody. When I do a bit, I want to be funny to everybody. Not to some people, not to these people, not to those people, to everybody. And I don't know that we do that enough. I don't know that we encapsulate everybody enough. Everything is this little niche shit, and it's starting to annoy me.
How can you when everyone plays to their side so much? And I know you guys don't like it when we get so political here. But it's like
I don't even mean politics. I just mean in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like Trump also came out and said if he does get arrested, he wants, which is both might happen. He wants to come out. He wants to be shown in handcuffs as like, and this is kind of genius, but also where we're at in the country, where it's like he wants to be in handcuffs in front of people as like basically a political prisoner. Because that will propel his base even more into voting for him. Because it's like, look what they did to him type shit.
But like that, for example, right? Some of the people that would be pissed off to see him in handcuffs are the same kind of people, some of them, when before Floyd, like black people or minorities would be like, man, the cop just beat the shit out of me. These are the same people back then that would go, well, what did you do? But they don't say that when it comes to Trump getting right. It's like, why would they put him in handcuffs as opposed to what did he do? That's the shit that bothers me too. Like I used to do a joke way back in the day where the idea of the joke was, listen, I love my family, but I'm not going to defend them if they're wrong. Like, if I know that my dad raped your mom, I'm going to let you know my dad raped your mom. I'm not going to hide it because he's my dad.
You were the only one I know that throws shit like that into premises where you're trying to just enjoy a show and get away from like political drama. And you go, look, if I know my dad raped your mom.
but that's me making it real, right? Because yeah, I could go, if I know that my father hit your car and left a note that said I'm sorry, I would go back and put a note that says it was my father and we live at this address. So complicated. If my dad raped your mom, I would rat his ass out. I think everybody could understand that.
Can you guys put up that Brokeback picture of his dad and my mom? Can we
By the way, I want to throw it out there that what you just saw was consensual.
Dude, fucking Trump today posted a picture, or I don't know if it was today or recently, where he's talking about, getting arrested and what he thinks. It's all bullshit. And then he said that you can expect, what does the article say there? Joe, if you want to pull that up, it's the one about him getting arrested, and he's holding up a hammer or some type of weapon to the New York DA, a bat. He posted a bat threatening death and destruction if he gets elected. This is what politics is. This is a guy that's up for indictment going, I want to be a political prisoner, but if you arrest me, you can expect, he goes, it's not true. I didn't do any of it. But if it is, I'm going to fucking kill you and I'm going to destroy your whole family.
But you know what? You got to love the guy. He doesn't hide it, right?
Yeah.
He's not like that person who speaks behind your back, who pretends they're nice. He's like you know what I mean? He's not that guy. He's not the guy that you're like, wait a minute, why is my brother acting weird? And then you realize that his wife has been feeding him weird stuff about the family little by little, intruding into it. Like, this is the guy that shows up at your dinner table and literally 3 minutes later, out loud, you're going, who the fuck invited this piece of shit? Because he just will tell you. Listen, if you ever invited Biden and Trump to your house and you made a dinner for them and purposely made something that tasted like shit and put it in the mix of the meal, I think the difference is Biden would pretend that the whole meal was delicious and thank you and it was amazing and I appreciate it. Trump would be like, I don't know who the fuck made that shitty casserole, but that tastes awful.
Biden,
and that's who he is. And you gotta love him or hate him for it.
Biden would go, I ate stuff like this in the black church that I grew up in.
Oh, yeah. He would. Back in Scranton, New Jersey, when we didn't have anything, we used to eat compost right out of the compost.
And then Trump would go, you need to fire the help. Trump would go, get new help around here.
Yeah, Trump would walk in the kitchen and go, you're fired. Who made the shitty casserole?
Bring in the Mexicans, tear down the wall, bring in the Mexicans.
If they were Mexicans, he would be like, oh, Mexicans. If they were not Mexicans, I think he'd be like, and this is a problem. You need to hire Mexicans.
That's true. I love when politicians can swing anything. That makes me laugh so fucking hard. Like, when he is the king of being able to take one thing and just turn it into something completely different. When you're like, wasn't he just talking about the opposite? Like, the dude, even the vaccine that Trump started, right? The vaccine that Trump started, and everyone's like, I'm going to take it because it's a Trump vaccine. And then Biden came in and the vaccine got administered more. They're like, I'm not taking that vaccine. It's like the same people and everything flips. That's why it's so fucking nuts.
But it's because people, right, today demand. You know what I mean? I had somebody come up to me the other day and they were like, I got to tell you something, but I don't know how to say it. And I was like, dude, just be yourself, man. I don't know what this thing is, but just let it out. And he goes, dude, you're probably my favorite comedian. And the second, we're right up there with you. And he went like this and he made a face and he goes, it's Joe Rogan. I'm sorry. And I was like, why are you apologizing? I don't care who you love. Doesn't matter to me. If I bring you joy and he brings you joy, that's a beautiful thing. I don't want you to feel bad about that. Good for you, man. That's amazing. I'm humbled by the fact that you put me in the best category and whoever's there with me. That's amazing. Good for you. And he was so blown away because he's expecting like some kind of loyalty. And I looked at him and I said, you're not my wife, dude. You're not cheating on me when you go see Bert Kreischer. Like, I'm not at home going, what, I'm not good enough for you? Do I not fuck you 4 times a goddamn night every night for 23 goddamn years? No, You're free to go.
That'd be great. You should do that.
Want.
You should pull your dick out and go, I'll show you a machine.
Glam radio.
Listen, bro, I love you, but I do gotta go to therapy.
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna cut you loose here. Where can people find you online? Where can they look for the new special? Give some updates real quick.
All right, so the special, they're negotiating where it's going to be released. I'm trying to find a way for it to be released for free, so all you people that don't pay to access. And then the second one's probably going to have to be you're going to have to go to some kind of platform. I'm on Instagram, Twitter. I'm not on Twitter because it's just too toxic. So I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and I'm about to do a TikTok, but I still haven't committed to it because it's way too intrusive and it takes everything in your phone, and I'm just so against it. But I think I'm going to have to get a phone and just use it specifically to do TikTok videos because they reach so many people. And right now, it's the internet. That's all it is. You know, when I first started doing stand-up, I was talking about this the other day. I know I got to go, but I was talking about this the other day. I remember going in 1995 to Houston for the first time. And I went on a show called Stevens and Pruitt. And I killed it. I mean, I killed that radio spot. By the time we went from the radio that ended at 10 to the club at 10:20, the whole weekend was sold out. Like, that was the power of radio back in the day. Today, that power exists online.
Yeah.
So you have to push it to the online now because that's where that's where people go. But yeah, man, it's so anyway, I will let you know as soon as I know. I'm on them. I want it out. It's been a long time since I recorded them. I'm almost to the point where I'm like, just trash those and let's do them over again. The material actually got better because you know how it just gets more and more and more refined, and a joke just never, it almost rarely just ends. It just evolves and can evolve into something else if you want to keep morphing it. So I'm at that place. So I'll let everybody know. Go to Carlos Mencia, CarlosMencia @ that's my handle for everything, even my website. And yeah, man, I'm putting a lot of stuff right now up. So yeah, go check it out. And
yeah.
Perfect. Hey, thanks for scrambling to be on here. I appreciate it. Tell your therapist to ask for a 2-for-1 for this week, and then pass me your number when you get the chance.
Well, listen, Kevin, when I say I would do anything for you, I really mean it, bro. I miss you, man. Ever since, COVID, we just haven't been able to hang out the way we used to. So yeah, I can't wait to see you perform. I can't wait to talk about your performances. I can't wait to make some of your jokes better. I can't wait. And I don't say that in an arrogant way or that your jokes suck. I just know that when I see performers, I can tweak stuff. I can say, hey, touch this, tweak that, move this, flip that, try this. And I love living in that world. And I love doing that for people that I care about like you. So I can't wait to see you perform and just kind of go with it and see that and live that and exist that, because we haven't had that for 3 years now. It kind of sucks. Right now, I'm thinking, I'm like, man, I wish I would have flown you here for this weekend that I'm doing in Irvine. 500 seats, shows are pretty much sold out. Like, you would have loved it. It would have been a great time. Now I feel bad that I didn't even think about that. So,
well, while you're saying that, I also wish that you had done that.
Okay, my pause is that a joke? And then it hit me. It was like, nah, it's pretty real.
That's pretty real. That's pretty.
All right, we'll get together soon, brother. I love you, man.
Talk soon.
Love you
too, pal.
all
right, buddy. Be
Bye.
good. Carlos Mencia, everyone, checking in for the great Dave Landau. He was talking
fun.
about that was a good time, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was very fun. He's an interesting guy.
I'm gonna call him Ned because that's who he is to me. Ned is a very, very interesting person.
I actually wanted to bust in with a couple questions, but I felt bad because you guys were flowing so much. But I would love to know, like, what that moment's like when you get that call from Comedy Central that, that's got to, like, a life-changing moment. And do you even realize at the moment what's all happening? Or I don't know. It just seems like such a cool thing.
Meaning, like, to get Mind of Mencia?
Yeah, exactly. So you're just a stand-up, and then all of a sudden you get that call, and now you're going to be on TV. And I assume Comedy Central probably paid pretty well, so it had to be a huge jump salary-wise and exposure-wise.
Well, you also, by the way, bring yourself on screen so it doesn't just look like I'm staring at myself. You also got to know that that took the spot of Chappelle's Show. So there's a lot. I would imagine that he would say that there was a lot of pressure that had to go into that spot because that was the time slot that the Chappelle Show was in. So when Dave left, that's when Mind of Mencia came in. And so there's all of this. Everyone's watching at that moment. That's the, that's the anchor of the program. And then to have the show go to critical success and then go for 2 or 3 seasons. I think it was 3 seasons, maybe 4. I don't know if you guys could fact check that. Jamie, fact check that one for me.
I know he did say when he was talking about it that he didn't get to enjoy like those years of doing it because he was so focused on it. I hope he at least enjoyed the moment of getting the show and that.
Yeah, well, so the thing with him is, so he grew up in Honduras, and then he was born in Honduras, and then moved to East LA. He's got like 17 brothers and sisters. Some of them are cousins. It's like this crazy thing. I can't even fucking follow it.
That
And
shocks
like
no one.
right, and God knows Spanish families are hard enough to follow. Joe, you were just saying that to me last night.
Yes.
So it's
I say that often.
You do. Followed by a white fist in the air. And I don't know why you do that, but we're getting through it. That's something that Andy would do without the sleeves, but we're getting through it. But I think that he would say it was a relief of like being able to like take care of his family. Cause like his brother Albert that he talks about is like his right-hand guy. I like Albert. Albert's actually funnier in person than Ned is, and Ned on stage is, Albert would never be able to get on stage. So there's like this double connection. But I think Ned's always looked at himself as like, I am the guy that has to provide for this family. Like I am the special one of this family that's got to go on and make sure that this guy stays out of jail. This guy does this and all this bullshit. So I think when he got it, it was more like, okay, it's time to step up and knock it out. And I'm sure as you guys have picked up, young Ned had crazy ego. And it was like, you couldn't tell him he was not going to do something.
Still has a little bit of that ego. You can
for sure. But he knows that. That's
He's earned a little bit of that though, right?
I would think so. I mean, you can't get to a certain level without having that confidence that feeds into some sort of ego. It's like, dude, I don't know one like household name comic that's not a little bit nuts. That's not a little bit outside of their head or like what the norm for a person is, because you have to put yourself in this like weird mental state to get there. Even like, dude, even Artie Lang, who's like the guy's guy, like when you sit down with him to do something, it's like you can't, like his eyes, it's like he's TikTok. It's like every 15 seconds he's on to the next thing. And you're like, this is really hard to maintain a conversation.
Yeah.
Like that type of mentality. That's how I know I'm not going to be famous.
Well, that and other reasons. So the other thing I wanted to ask Carlos was, he talked about a lot of the hate that he gets. And I found it interesting that he said like that it hurts and stuff. Cause like, those people don't know him. Like they're not talking about him as a person. They're talking about a character that they watch on television. It just seems weird that he internalized it so much.
Yeah, but you can't. I think it's
I guess it was a lot of it.
Yes, it is a lot of it. It still is. It's impossible. I don't think it's possible to read something about yourself and not in some way care. I don't know how much, or just to read it and stop and be like, what a dick. And like, like, not that you give, I don't know, you spend that much time thinking about it, but I would imagine if you see that every day, you're like, okay, I get it. Like, Jesus Christ already, Yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's like being in a relationship, I guess. When you hear the same thing all the time, you're like, okay, I will do that type of thing.
Yeah. And then the last thing was kind of for you that I was wondering about is like what, and I feel bad putting you on the spot on the air like
I
this.
don't care.
What are your thoughts about his whole joke stealing thing? Because like it was one of those moments where I was like, maybe he's protesting a little too hard. So I was kind of curious. You know him. What's your take on it?
Yeah. See, I understand the mentality of people going, he's protesting too much, so something's got to be up there. Like I get that. Like I get when people say stuff like that. Dude, I don't know. That's a layered question. to answer for me because I wasn't around. So I hear things from both sides, and it's hard for me to fully agree to one side or fully agree to another side, that type of thing. And it sounds like a cop out, but that's just the person that I am, where it's like, uh, I wasn't around, so I don't really know,
So
you know?
I talked to Mike Morse about this once, and I wish I had the clips to show because I don't know if anyone else in the world's ever noticed this, but there, you know, in Seinfeld, in the beginning of Seinfeld, when they would do him doing stand up.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was one of those where he's doing stand up and he does a bit about being in the line at the bank and how it goes around, you know, in this, and he's like, I hope there's a hunk of cheese at the end of this maze.
Mhm.
Well, Kevin James, Sweat the Small Stuff, does pretty much the exact same bit in Sweat the Small Stuff, almost word for word. And I was like, Mike, do you think Kevin James stole that from Seinfeld? And he's like, I doubt it. I think it's just more likely that they both sort of had the same idea, and how many different ways can you put that, and blah, blah, blah. So
Right.
you think maybe Carlos was in one of those situations where it's like,
Oh,
people
I
have
think.
similar
Well,
ideas?
I think when he says like the fence joke, if you're going to kick out all the immigrants, who's going to build the wall, and build the wall, who's going to build it?
Yeah.
I think that there were 17 comics doing that at the same time. So I do think there's like that type of, everyone's got this parallel thought in their joint experience. Like, dude, it's just tough for me to say in terms of what my opinion is, because the guy's a close friend of mine, and I hear his take on it, but I also understand why other people would think that because of like what they say or like whatever videos. So it's like I get both sides, but I also wasn't there, so it's hard for me to have some like definitive thing. You know, I lean towards believing my friend. And if that makes me, you know, naive or whatever, then, you know, whatever. That's just how
Well,
I
and
am.
maybe cutting him a little slack too, like acting like it's the worst thing in history is a little extreme.
Well,
don't you think?
that's where I have more of an opinion on. I can't. It's hard for me to have an opinion on something that I wasn't there and saw everything happen. And I'm like that with everything. But in terms of the how long we're gonna punish this dude for, it's been 20
Right.
fucking years. Like, what are we doing, man? There's people, you know, getting canceled and coming back and playing massive arenas and all this shit. And it's like, I don't agree with the only comedian I think we should definitely cancel so far is Cosby. And this might be Andy. I know you feel differently about this.
Controversial take.
This might be controversial, but I
Let's
think
put
if you
Andy in
rape
here.
someone, you shouldn't be allowed to work. I do think, Andy. What I know that you were just telling me the other day that you don't believe that. What's your take on Cosby?
What's my take on Cosby?
Put
I feel
Andy
like
on the
Andy
spot.
was drawing something and he wasn't paying attention to the conversation.
Sorry. That's what I thought he said.
No, I'm he was saying about like how long people have given Mencia shit for. I'm of the camp that it's like I think the only comic that should be canceled is Cosby. I really do. I can't think of one other person that's done something where they shouldn't be able to work that they haven't like atoned for. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe D'Elia with like crazy allegations against like him grooming people. That's going into that Cosby-esque thing.
Yeah.
Well, with the politically correct thing going on today, I mean, Carlos Mencia should probably be retried for old crimes and do another 20 years.
Should we do a retrying? We should do a retrial. We should have a comedian tribunal hearing and then play both sides and then and make a rule. What if we do that? What if comedians, although I don't know.
What if he gets voted off the island then? And then we have to set him out to sea to die like an Eskimo.
And just light the whole thing on fire.
Yeah.
Wave to Carlos as he.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's crazy to hold someone to like such a crazy prison sentence after what I just looked off.
The minute you said hold someone.
To hold someone, I think you've been waiting for me to say that. To hold someone is such a
over
crazy
that
thing.
The whole show.
Why? What are your takes? What do you think
about Cosby?
No. About how long Mencia should be in comedy jail for.
I think the audience ultimately makes that decision. right? Like if you look at Louis, there's a good example of it. Like if people didn't go see Louis, he'd still be canceled, but people are coming to see him, and so clubs are willing to have him. I think you know, same thing with Chris D'Elia. If people don't want to go see his comedy or don't watch his podcast, you know, it's the audience ultimately, I think, that's got that kind of power.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, look, he's got his audience, you know.
I'd like to see him out of comedy jail.
Yeah, it's an interesting,
entertaining.
It's an interesting case in terms of like why has it been so long? But you know, as someone that's friends with him, as someone that's I mean, he's dude, giving me so much. Hold up that graphic again, please. If you're listening, it's just me holding Carlos Mencia in a Brokeback Mountain movie screen, and sometimes it's the other way around.
My hunch is, though, as to why it was so extreme in his case, I think maybe the Rogan angle and connection and the fact that Rogan became so huge. And so it's like sort of as Rogan got big over the last 10 years, that story kept getting recycled to new people. It's like it never got out of the news cycle. As Rogan grew, people kept finding that video and kind of fed itself for a while.
Yeah, I also think
like that original video of Rogan confronting him. What year was that even?
That was like 15 years ago, dude.
Right?
At least. That was at least 15 years ago. It was early 2000s. But it's what was I going to say about that?
The Rogan connection?
No, it's the fact that he was kind of like the first to get canceled in the internet era. That type of thing. And like I've asked him about that, where he said he had like a whole team around him where he was like, should I confront this? And they were like, ignore it and it'll go away. Because even like Robin Williams got the same accusations thrown at him and stuff like that. And nothing really ever stuck. And then he didn't, and it just stuck. So like he didn't address it. And then when he came back, he's like, I didn't do this. And everyone's like, well, now you're denying it too hard. And now it's 20 fucking years later. And it's like, dude, it's like this fairy tale. It's like this folklore of what it is. It's kind of, he's like, it's so weird too, because like the name Carlos Mencia is kind of bigger than like life. It's like this like legendary tale as a comedian. So, you know, so you hear that and it doesn't even seem like it's from this era of everything. It's like an old school throwback stand-up, you know, like Dane Cook's not even there in terms of like saying that name and having that same sort of like folklore thing. It's like you're talking about a ghost sometimes. It's kind of crazy.
That's the way I feel about what Lenny Bruce, the way y'all talk, the way comedians talk about Lenny Bruce. And like I tried to watch some of his stand-up. It is not very funny.
No, he was more of a political guy. He was more like, you can't tell me I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna, you know.
Right. He was so different for that time.
Yeah, he was like, he was kind of the NWA of stand-ups, where it was like, don't do that. He was, yeah. Well, did he die of AIDS? It was that one thing where he was, they're like, don't do that joke because you'll get arrested. And he's like, well, here I go. He's like the Trump, you know, show me in handcuffs and then play the video of me pissing on Stormy Daniels. And really,
that was another thing I wanted to bust in on because so I worked in politics for a little while. If I were on Trump's staff, the reason I would want that photo is for a fundraising mailer. Like I would use that to raise money.
No shit.
Yeah,
that's
politics is a gross business.
It's
a lot like this.
It is a lot like this. It's really. This is a disgusting business to be in.
Yeah, and the people in politics are almost as big a degenerates as the people who work in comedy. A lot less action figures,
sure,
but just as morally corrupt.
Yeah.
You know what though? Comics are held to a higher standard than politicians, though, which is fucking madness. So it's like I just told a joke about masturbating in the middle of the street, right? And that was all fine. But the second, you know, I make fun of either like and this isn't my own opinions, this is just in general, like a marginalized group, or I do this, or I make fun of something that society's telling you can't make fun of. Right. The second I make one of those jokes, now you're going to take me serious? Yeah. But before, when I was jerking off in front of kids on the street, it was funny. This is like, what a crazy thing. What a crazy opinion to have.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel bad for you guys. I do. I'm not kidding. Like, I would imagine, especially after doing comedy as long as a lot of y'all have, like, you got into it and get used to doing it to speak your mind and joke about everything. And I just can't imagine doing it in this kind of like woke environment where you've got to worry about somebody recording something and releasing it.
Well, sure. Recording and releasing it sucks. That happened to Louis because he was at Governor's in Long Island, and he did a bit for the first time about a school shooting, and I think he had a transgendered bit too. And someone recorded the first time he did it, where it's like, dude, if you heard the first time, the first draft of anyone's joke could be about the most innocent thing, you would be fucking revolted. I mean, a lot of times when you hear the final draft of people's jokes,
yeah, I've seen Mike
Visconti. We both hit our Gino joke. You would be revolted by the final version of that. You would. I mean, you would be revolted by the first dude. When comics write material, there's like placeholders for everything, where it's like, I'm just gonna flesh out these thoughts, and I know this isn't gonna be like the final thought, or this isn't gonna be the final subject, or whatever it is. Like, this premise will be tweaked and more fine tuned, but it's like you're holding these rough. You're just putting out these rough placeholders of like, I just need to get the idea out, and then I'll perfect it, and then I'll worry about like how to polish it up. So it's like especially something as touchy as school shootings and transgendered, to record that and then put that out and be like, Louis back. like, why would you not? Dude, if I was the father of the kid he was talking about, I would have showed up to Louis' show. Like, how could you not be upset about that? So what a wild thing to put out there. So that
try not to take your dead kid so seriously.
Right.
Everybody tighten the fuck up.
You should know better than that. Remember the good times, Pops.
Could always be worse.
Yeah, it could always be worse. We should just call this show. What is that? Oh, it's a mud shark.
It's a mud shark. That's the elusive mud shark, rarely seen in the wild.
You know, it's so hard for me to keep up with who's fighting, what show is fighting what show, that I never know who's on whose good side anymore. So when those graphics go on stage, I go, should I say this? I don't even know if I should describe what this is. It's hard to keep track of who's feuding with whom. It is really hard to keep track of it. That's why here on Just Joking, we focus on the jokes and we scramble for long form interviews when all else fails. You know who's got the right idea? Did you guys see? I'm going to do this one last article with you guys, and then we'll get out of here. Elon Musk right now he's got a lot of good ideas. Dude, that's how I can tell how you lean politically. Elon guy's got a lot of good people on both sides. He's got a lot of good ideas. Elon Musk has the greatest response to any press inquiry that happens right now. Do you have that, Joe? You got that story to pull up? Actually, my computer froze, so Brett's been running the call for us. So it's hilarious. Brett, do you have the Elon Musk? It's under the redheaded libertarian on Twitter. She tweeted about it. Elon Musk right now has the greatest response to anything, like any journalist trying to get a story. It auto responds to an email with a poop emoji. He's stealing our bit. We've been doing that here at the Shuli Network for months. Have you just respond to any press with shit? Any email, really. So Vice News emailed Elon Musk saying, we asked Twitter about hosting anti-Semitism, and Twitter responded with a poop emoji. If that's not the greatest response, I'm going to send this to Carlos. I'm going to say anyone that tweets negativity or asks you something that you don't want to answer, just respond with the poop emoji and then keep it moving. Although then then people will say that he stole it from Elon Musk. So there really is no winning in this situation. He really should do it then. Dude, it is so fucking Carlos, funny to me. No, he's the best. It is so funny, dude. It's so funny to, especially a question about like anti-Semitism. That's a response that Kanye West would have to anti-Semitism. They would go, how do you feel about this? And then he would take a shit in the middle of the street and they go, there's your answer. Should have responded with a custom emoji of Shuli. That would have really confused them. Just one poop and then one Shuli head. One Shuli, yes. Hilarious. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to Just Joking. So actually send me that because I'll post that as the
Sure.
I'll post it as a promo pic for audio only. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Just Joking. Someone had said, did my hand, one of the super chats said, did my hand hurt breaking Gino's abacus? It actually did not hurt at the time, and there was a little bit of swelling, but I'm the best of me. And if you want to see that rage once a week, come on back to the Shuli Network live every Friday, where you can hear no interviews, no arguments, just jokes. Come on back soon.